Buongiorno a tutti, qui il vostro Anthony che vi parla e oggi continueremo la live di CSI. Dunque, noi eravamo, nell'ultima live avevamo preso le prove come cacchio si chiama? Dal salone, l'ufficio di Peter Baxa. Quindi noi adesso andiamo ad analizzarle. Allora. Andiamo prima qua, impronte. Allora. Sì.
Baja's prints are on the toolbox in his office, which is not exactly a surprise, but it does suggest that the contents are his.
Ok, quindi la valigetta nella cassetta degli attrezzi è di Baxa. Poi analizziamo le scarpe. Sì, anche le scarpe sono sue.
Based on the placement of Baja's fingerprint, those have got to be his shoes.
Poi lascia. No, lascia, non sono le sue impronte. Allora proviamo quelle di Portia. Sì.
Portia Weissman used this tool. It might be the one Brian Yu told us she was keeping at the spa.
Sì, l'ex fidanzato l'aveva detto che Portia aveva un attrezzo. Poi vediamo questo qua. Mi sa che forse potrebbe essere... Sì.
It wasn't Baja's fingerprint, but why would he have a ledger with Portia's prints on it?
Ok, allora di questo non abbiamo niente e neanche di analisi al computer. Ah sì, c'è questo, è vero, il disco fisso, ragazzi. Ah, virus.
What's this? Trend Micro Internet Security Pro has detected a virus. Repair. Looks like someone's been practicing unsafe surfing. Okay, let's see what Pete has on this hard drive. Cat pictures, puzzle games, and Portia Weissman's monthly household budget. Looks like we found the drive that was missing from the computer in the loft.
Ok, adesso cos'è che ci rimane da controllare? È un bel po' di roba ancora. Ok, andiamo nell'altro computer. Allora, chimica. Dunque, sostanza chimica rilevata sulla scarpa. Ecco qua.
More volcanic minerals and acetone. The shoes tied Pete Baja to the spot just prior to the explosion.
Poi vediamo sta roba, pacchetto di Muffit.
It's a vegan blueberry muffin, just like it said on the package. Factor out the carbon, and the muffin that helped ignite the fire is identical to the ones we found in Baja's office.
Bene, bene, bene. Questo Muffit è identico a quello bruciato. Poi, questa è la sostanza trovata sulle scarpe. Sì. Ma che pirla, l'avevamo già controllata? Ma proviamo un attimo a vedere. Eccolo qua. Acetone e fango della SPA rilevati sulla scarpa e anche l'impronta davanti all'appartamento. Ma perché continua a darmi... Poi, vabbè, vediamo qua l'acetone, se mi dice qualcosa.
Almost pure acetone. No fragrances, no dye. Very few impurities at all. I think we may have enough to nail Baja for starting the fire. His shoes put him in the spa sometime after the acetone was dumped. He picked up quantities of both the accelerant and the spa mud.
Ok, però noi comunque... Ah, vedi, adesso l'ha dato tutto. Vogliamo esserne sicuri al 100%. Quindi controlliamo anche questa roba qua. Dunque, la scarpa con questo.
The hair placed Baja in Portia's apartment, but the footprint puts him there sometime after visiting the spa.
Poi questo con l'ascia di Baxa.
Could have been used to break into Portia's apartment. Each side of the tool matches one of the distinct shapes ventilating the spa's drywall. Brian Reed's Denver tool is just as likely to have been used to help spread the fire as the tool we recovered from the barber shop. Portia kept her Denver tool at the spa, right where Pete Baja could have easily taken it. Okay, I think I have a pretty clear picture of what happened. Baja was laundering money, and when Portia confronted him about it, he panicked. Then he decided to rig the spa to explode. Portia probably showed up after Pete was gone. Doc Robbins said she had marijuana in her system, so she might not have noticed the acetone. While she was there burning to death, Baja was at her apartment looking for the record she was keeping. With what we have now, an arrest warrant won't be a problem. Let's go talk to Brass.
Ma aspetta, devo finire di vedere una cosa.
Good, you're all here. What's going on, Captain Brass? What's so sensitive you couldn't discuss it over the phone?
We have a visitor. Miss Beatriz Salazar.
You serious? She's here?
Queen of the Hive herself just walked in and asked to talk to the CSIs in charge of the Pedro Baja case.
You mind if I sit in on this one, Captain Brass?
You're my guest, you can take my seat. I'll hang back and watch from the viewing room.
Ah, è venuta a farci visita anche la regina dell'Alveare.
Hello, Miss Salazar. My name is Special Agent.
Gene Huntsby. I know who you are. But these two, I am unfamiliar with. I shall presume you are the ones persecuting my poor, clumsy pedocito.
We're not persecuting anyone. The evidence speaks for itself, ma'am.
Allora, perché è venuta qua?
Usually when someone wants to talk to us in this room, they want to confess. So, is there something you'd like to get off your chest, Miss Salazar?
You think you're very clever, don't you? Perhaps I know you better than I thought, but I'm here for Pedro. He is family.
Family, huh? You know, I might actually be moved by that if you weren't still the primary suspect in the execution murder of your first husband.
My husband's murderer remains at large, Agent Huntsby. Pedro Estramayatta. my village in Mexico. He graduated from the school I built for them and prayed in the church I gave them. Pedro's family, all 3 of his sisters, they live in the house I provide. So as you can see, I have a significant investment in the future and well-being of this young man.
Operations the size of this one, they tend to run right under the radar, making them perfect little laundromats for hundreds of thousands of dollars of your petty cash.
Remind me again, Agent Huntley, why I should need to launder money when I too am a very successful, multinational, legitimate businesswoman? My Pedro was a legitimate small businessman.
Ecco qua.
Dupree
Ti sistemo
wasn't
qui io, ti
doing
sistemo.
nearly as much business as he was reporting.
Oh dear. First you zero in on poor Pedro, and now it sounds like you're investigating me. Shall I get my lawyer? Shall I go?
We don't need to go there right now.
A woman is dead because Pete Baja was trying to clean up a mess. Do you think it was his own? Or yours?
I think if this evidence is speaking to you, miss, then something must be lost in the translation. Regardless of whatever mess there was, Pedro is incapable of violence.
Sorry about your investment, but like I said, the evidence speaks for itself. And it never lies.
What precisely is this evidence saying to you?
We're not at liberty to discuss the specifics of an ongoing investigation.
Very well, I understand. My heart breaks for Pedro. He always tried so very hard to please me. Sometimes a man is called upon to be more than he has been in the past. Sometimes he fails.
Pedrocito got in over his head, didn't he, Pete?
That's me, Salazar, to you, Agent Huntley. I do not believe courtesy is too much to ask from an agent of the FBI. But then again, why should I expect anything else from a man who is so clearly prepared to escape with a young man like my Pedro? Pedro is not a murderer.
Aren't you afraid to leave some trace of yourself behind? A hair or flake of skin? Something with your DNA that we might be able to use against you.
You want to make your job more difficult than it has to be. I believe I have made myself very clear to you. I shall not waste any more of your time. Muchas gracias.
What the hell was all that about? I mean, what she thinks she was going to accomplish?
Hey, how about that arrest warrant for Baja? Nevada Highway Patrol was able to track him down. The bad news is, he's dead. I need you to meet me at the barber shop. See you there.
Two police officers came by to serve that arrest warrant again. They found him, I guess. Called it in.
Is that a video camera?
Aimed right at him.
Ah, Bax è morto. Allora, prima di tutto ragazzi dobbiamo subito tornare un attimo alle prove, perché non mi ha fatto esaminare questa, la forbice da idraulico. Sicuramente, e anche questi portadocumenti, non capisco perché, vabbè, andiamo un attimo al laboratorio principale, perché se dobbiamo fare le cose le dobbiamo fare bene. Non mi rompere le scatole con i suggerimenti. Eccola qua, vedete, c'è. Non avevamo controllato le pinze.
Look at how the imperfections on the blade match up to the markings on the gas line. These shears were used to cut that gas line.
Ok, quindi alla fine sappiamo che è stato Bax a ucciderla, perché si è accorto dei conti falsati. Quello che non riesco a capire è perché, no, ho sbagliato, perché non posso controllare questi documenti qua. Vabbè, comunque l'assassino della povera, scusate, della povera Portia è stato Pete Baxa. Quindi diciamo Brian, l'ex fidanzato, non è accusato dell'omicidio, ma è innocente. Adesso andiamo al salone e vediamo un po'. Ok, vediamo il video che ha lasciato.
Pedro Baja. I'm an embezzler and a murderer. I set fire to the Suprala spa in order to cover up the fact that, for some time now, I have been fraudulently reporting its earnings. I poured acetone all over, cut the gas line, and left a muffin to burn in the toaster oven. I wasn't going to do the drywall, but that tool was there, and I was nervous. I swear to God, the place was empty when I rigged it to go up. I didn't know. How could I know that Portia would come by in the middle of the night? I even went to her apartment to talk her into giving me the records she told me about. When she wasn't there, I broke in. It was made crystal clear to me that I needed to get the records. But I never found them. I know it's small comfort, but I apologize to her family and to anyone close to her. I'm so sorry for taking her away. Sometimes a man is called upon to be more than he has been in the past. Sometimes he fails. Please, tell my sisters this. I made a deal with the devil to keep you safe, to give you a better life. I beg you to remember me if you are ever tempted to make a deal of your own. So it's come to this. Goodbye.
Ok, si è suicidato.
So all the forensic evidence supports what Pete Baja confessed to on the video?
Yes, it does. But Pete Baja's confession wasn't for us, was it?
Neither was his suicide. I think he was trying to make amends.
To his queen.
Well, this case may not have resolved itself the way Agent Huntley had hoped. Now I'll have to find another way to trap Salazar. But regardless, you guys did some very good work on this one.
Speaking of good work, I'm glad you didn't have to arrest Brian Lee. I was reviewing his service record, and despite the disciplinary actions, he was a very brave firefighter. Won a Medal of Valor for saving a gymnasium full of high school kids. It's a shame what happened to him. He certainly deserves a second chance.
You know what? I think the deputy fire chief just might owe me a favor.
Ok, va bene. Sì, va bene, qua possiamo anche saltare. No, non possiamo saltare niente. Vabbè, allora abbiamo completato il primo caso. L'assassino è stato Pete Baxa. E adesso andremo con il secondo caso del gioco. Allora, scegliamo il caso. Prove piazzate, episodio 2. Vediamo un po' il secondo caso. Naturalmente il nostro partner di lavoro adesso sarà un altro, non è più questa bella ragazza. Ogni episodio avremo un partner diverso.
So this is going to be the brand new La Ventura Hotel and Casino, huh?
Scheduled to open its doors spring of 2009.
They sure don't make them like they used to.
They sure don't seem to be able to make this one at all. First it was the city council, then the environmentalists. Now it's the Bureau of Sanitation shutting them down over faulty sewage lines. Nothing's getting done around here until somebody cleans some pipes.
Jeez, what hasn't happened to delay this thing?
A dead body.
Ok, adesso abbiamo questo uomo qua come partner.
Like the place is cursed.
Greg.
Construction worker over there called in. I haven't taken a statement yet.
Good to see you. Thought I might be flying solo on this one. Okay, time to go to work.
Ok, allora dunque. Obiettivo aggiornato. Allora, vediamo i luoghi. Il luogo. L'Avventura Hotel and Casino, salone d'ingresso. Ok, dunque. Dossier. Vabbè, naturalmente. La vittima. Però non sappiamo il nome. Allora, parliamo subito con il testimone.
We're from the crime lab. May we have your name?
Marcus Conchai. I'm the plumbing foreman. Well, I guess I should say I used to be the plumbing foreman on this job. Yeah, that's right. I arrived this morning to pick up my last check. I looked over there and I couldn't believe it. I immediately called 911. The Bureau of Sanitation shut us down because of some faulty sewage pipes, and the construction company's basically holding me responsible. So, yesterday they finally decided to let me go, and like I said, I just came by this morning to pick up the rest of my equipment and my severance check.
Chi è la vittima?
No, I mean, I didn't get close enough to the body to look at his face. I couldn't bring myself to walk all the way over there. It's just too horrible.
Va bene.
Thanks for your help, Mr. Kunchan. We'll be in touch.
I kind of hope not, but, you know, good luck with everything.
Ok. Prendiamo il casco, vediamo un po'.
How the heck could belong to our Vic? But how to get all the way over here?
Come ha fatto ad arrivare fin qui? Bella domanda. Allora, vediamo un attimo. La prima cosa da fare è vedere se ci sono... Non trovo niente, strano. Vabbè, forse dovremmo analizzarlo con un'altra cosa, un altro macchinario. Allora, non c'è niente. Qui ci sono dei gabbiani. Andiamo adesso nella zona più importante.
We'll take a closer look at him when we get to the morgue. Where did he come from?
Allora. Qui c'è un'impronta, ragazzi. Un bel calco.
You don't need a cast of this.
Come non ci serve un calco? Ah, che pirla. La foto.
Partial shoe impression. Looks as though someone approached the body and tried to cover the tracks.
Allora. Aspetta, vediamo se si... Hai idea di come sia morto?
Victim looks as though he fell right on top of that cactus tree, with enough momentum to take off a couple of branches. It suggests a fall from that balcony right above us. That's what we're here to find out, and given the thorny situation here, it'd be better to process the body at autopsy. I'll call Robbins for a pickup.
Ok, rimettiamoci al lavoro.
Construction worker over there apparently found the body. You want to talk to him while I snap some overalls of the scene?
Va bene, riparliamo di nuovo. Allora, qui... Aspettate un attimo, però vorrei vedere, non vorrei che ci fosse qualcosa qua al bordo. Tante volte ci sono anche delle tracce qui sui bordi. No, non possiamo toccare il corpo, deve venire la scientifica a portarlo via, quindi parliamo di nuovo con questo tipo qua.
Why do you want to do that?
To exclude you as a suspect, Mr. Kunchak.
Okay, sure.
Ok. Qua non c'è niente. Diamo un'altra controllata qua. Ma qua mi sembra tutto a posto. Ecco qua.
Most of those windows are boarded shut, except for the one right above our Vic.
Parliamo col tipo, no, niente. Allora, dobbiamo andare all'obitorio. Quindi, ah no, possiamo andare su, dal balcone, andiamo subito al balcone. Perfetto, perfetto, possiamo già andare nel balcone e controllare da lassù. Intanto ci portano via il corpo.
Silver Sierra is a pretty big building contractor in Las Vegas. Looks like the Zachary Lynch is the company's boss. Office is locked.
Allora, qua l'ufficio è chiuso, quindi non abbiamo l'autorizzazione per andare a controllare, però ce l'abbiamo qua. Allora, questo cos'è?
That's a 220 volt cable.
Un cavo di 220 volt.
One of those up here.
C'è del sangue qui, qualcosa del genere, cos'è che è?
No fingerprints here.
Oh, va bene, ho sbagliato, sempre meglio controllare, no? Ecco qui.
A little strange, don't you think? If this turns out to be our victim's blood, why was he bleeding before he took a header off the balcony?
Poi controlliamo anche il cavo. Ecco qua. Sicuramente c'è un'impronta. Vai.
Contractors' fingerprints are usually on work cards in the system.
no, c'è ancora qualcosa da prendere, mi sa qua, Ma forse no, non mi dà nient'altro. Allora, questo qua non riesco a capire perché non... cioè me lo fa raccogliere, però non ci sono impronte, non ci sono niente, boh. Allora, no, qui c'è una presa di corrente, vediamo se dice... no, niente. Ah, ecco. No, ho sbagliato. Ah no, non c'è nessun fluido, allora ci dovrebbe essere sicuramente un'altra bella impronta, vai.
These fingerprints on the balcony railing come back to our victim. It's suggestive of suicide. We can head over to the coroner's office or the lab as soon as you think we're done here. Brass will hold the scene for us just in case we need to come back for something.
La scala non c'è niente. Allora, torniamo un attimo giù. Vediamo se hanno portato via il corpo. Sì. Così possiamo prendere qualche... ah no, niente. Non possiamo prendere niente da qua. Neanche il sangue del niente. Vediamo se c'è da dire qualcosa.
But I didn't do anything.
Your fingerprints will help prove that.
All right.
Ok, abbiamo preso anche le impronte digitali di questo qua. Bene, allora andiamo all'obitorio.
Hey, Doc. Do you have our John Doe's cause of death?
Massive internal blunt force trauma. His rib cage is shattered, both lungs are punctured, and his spleen and right kidney are ruptured.
He basically bled out internally.
That's right.
Time of death?
Based on lividity and rigor, I'd estimate 10 to 12 hours ago.
Which would put his TOD between 9 and 11 p.m. last night.
Absolutely.
Ok, abbiamo le impronte digitali della vittima. E chiediamo anche il campione di sangue. Devo prendere i vestiti della vittima.
Be bagged and tagged for you.
What is that?
Don't suicide notes always sound forged? Or do I just read too many spy novels?
This one is conveniently typed and neatly folded for us to find. Is there anything else on it?
Allora, dopo controlleremo tutte le prove. Cosa sono quelle ferite attorno al collo?
Two very distinct ligature marks. The larger ligature mark directly under the chin here goes all the way around the neck and angles upwards at about 65 degrees. The second, smaller mark is also all the way around, but practically straight back and parallel.
You can clearly make out those two different ligature patterns.
They'll be easy to compare to the separate ligatures, if you're able to find them.
Let me get a shot of those.
Ok, dobbiamo scattare una foto ai segni. Vedete, ce ne sono due.
Make sure you photograph each ligature mark.
Ok, abbiamo fatto le due foto. Non c'è altro, mi sa. Vediamo un po' cosa ha da dire. La vittima si è suicidata?
Well, one ligature mark might certainly suggest a suicide attempt. Two unique ligature marks complicate matters, without actually eliminating the possibility that the victim was trying very hard to end his life. Now, his internal injuries, which ultimately led to his death, are consistent with a fall from a considerable height. But again, there's no way to determine from my examination whether your victim jumped willingly or had some help.
So our John Doe's death under suspicious circumstances means
that until presented with evidence to the contrary, I'm forced to label his death a homicide.
Ok. Bene ragazzi, allora abbiamo un po' di prove. Allora, dunque. Questa è la lettera d'addio. Se non ce ne facciamo mi sa niente, non possiamo neanche aprire. Ah no, no. Oh, mi avevi dato qualcosa qua. Eccolo. Dai, figlio di buona donna, me l'avevi dato il simbolo. Ecco qua.
no fingerprints here.
Allora proviamo con un fluido.
No fluids here.
E che cazzo è qua allora che c'è da trovare?
Nothing to collect here. We don't need a cast of this.
Eccola qua, vaffanbagno.
Partial fingerprint. Hopefully it's enough to start getting us some answers.
Ok, poi ecco, vediamo i vestiti della vittima. Mi pare che non ci sia niente da... Ah no, forse c'è... no. Strano. Non possono essere puliti. Ci dovrà essere sicuramente qualche cosa. Vabbè. Allora, adesso andiamo in laboratorio e... vediamo qui se ci... Andiamo al laboratorio, ragazzi. Ok, allora. Questo. No, dobbiamo zoomare ancora di più forse, sì. Oh, e che cavolo! Ah. aspettate. Ma forse devo usare l'altro. Ah, no, quindi da... No, le scarpe sono diverse. Ah, forse devo prima selezionare questo, ecco, vedete, figlio di buona donna. No, non combaciano. Però aspettate, mi sa che forse l'altro era. Eccolo.
Left the larger of the two ligature marks around the victim's neck.
Bene. Il cavo elettrico ha lasciato il primo segno sul collo della vittima, quindi già qualche cosa. Poi allora, chimica, non abbiamo niente, no, sbagliato. DNA. Allora, il DNA della vittima con il campione che abbiamo trovato sul balcone, Mi sa che potrebbe essere suo, ragazzi, sì.
The victim's blood is on the balcony railing. It seems a little odd if he were just by himself and getting ready to jump.
Anzi, già che ci siamo, vediamo se è nel database. No, non è schedato. Andiamo qua. Allora, impronte. Allora, usiamo... Eccolo qua. Abbiamo il nome della vittima.
Mark Ensign. Well, we've confirmed the identity of our victim.
Allora. Vediamo. No, sulla lettera le impronte non sono sue. Vediamo. Sulla ringhiera, sì.
These prints put our victim at the railing.
E poi vediamo il cavo. Sì. No, perché non ha fatto a nulla? Quindi il cavo è stato toccato anche dalla vittima.
Victim's prints match the prints on the power cable.
Ok.
These records aren't exactly up to the minute, but they confirm Marcus King Chai was employed at La Ventura.
No, neanche questo. Sulla lettera della vittima non... Sì, va bene. Dai, perché sei uscito? Porco Giuda. Allora, vediamo se... Ecco qua. Di chi è? Ah! Le impronte digitali sulla lettera appartengono a Zachary Link.
Whoa, the fingerprint on the suicide note belongs to Zachary Lynch. What a boss, huh? He even helps his employees with their suicide notes.
Agent Humphrey here has some information he'd like to share with us. It's regarding Mark Enson's apparent suicide.
I don't know where you're at with this investigation right now, but there's no way Mark Ensign killed himself.
I think you may be getting a little bit ahead of the evidence, Agent Humphrey.
Look, I was this close to turning him into a criminal informant. Ensign was about to go out on a limb, so he was pretty scared.
Scared enough to take his own life?
Absolutely not.
Or aren't you authorized to discuss that?
Look, off the record, Ensign was on the verge of turning state's evidence on allegations of kickbacks and bribes involved in the construction of the La Ventura Casino. He would have been my eyes and ears at the Silver Sierra Construction Company. He'd been working there as Zachary Lynch's right arm for 5 years.
Lynch is the president of the company.
And before that, he was Beatriz Salazar's lawyer back in Miami about 10 years ago. But we suspect she's maintained the relationship through Silver Sierra.
So Ensign might have been your way to get to Salazar.
Well, with your help, I'm hoping he might still be. Good luck.
Ok, abbiamo avuto informazioni. Abbiamo un mandato. Allora, cos'è che ci dobbiamo finire di controllare? La lettera. Però i vestiti non so perché sono puliti, eppure li ho controllati, ragazzi. Vediamo un attimo la lettera. Se c'è qualche altra cosa o... No. Allora, abbiamo mandato... un mandato di perquisizione per l'ufficio di Zachary.
Based on what evidence?
L'impronta di Zachary sulla lettera d'addio.
Lynch touched the suicide note? What else has he been up to? Why don't you go check out his office and see what he can turn up?
Ok, abbiamo il mandato. Però prima voglio passare un attimo al laboratorio perché mi sono dimenticato di vedere una cosa importante. Riguardo a questo. No. Ho sbagliato. Ah, non c'è tipo una ricerca sul database sulle scarpe. Comunque quelle non sono le sue. Allora va bene, dai. Andiamo. Non sono del collega, ecco. Del capo idraulico. Bene, andiamo nell'ufficio di questo Zachary, adesso non mi ricordo come si chiama. Ah, eccolo qua.
Look who's here. Zachary Lynch.
Zachary.
You want to talk to him first, or should we check out the office?
Parliamo prima con lui. Qui non c'è più niente da prendere, ok. Parliamo con il signor Zachary.
Mr. Lynch, we're from the Las Vegas Crime Lab. We have a search warrant for your office.
Of course you do, but you're wasting your time. Mark was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and I think you're way out of line here, using his suicide as an excuse to harass me. I talked to Mark on the phone last night. He sounded awful, worse than I'd ever heard him. I told him he needed to take some time off, clear his head. So we planned to meet this morning to discuss the details of a temporary leave of absence. But when I got here, I found him, and I found his note, and I read it. And then I put it back where I found it. I should have, I know that. But La Ventura has suffered delay after delay, and I just needed to take some time to figure out what I was going to do next. How I was going to explain to my investors that our lead man on the job was dead, that he had taken his own life. Do you understand what I'm talking about? It just doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in my company's ability to finish this very expensive, highly anticipated project. I went home, poured myself a drink, and waited. I guess I was waiting for a conversation like this, with people like you. Whatever it takes to get this over with.
Ok, abbiamo un'impronta di scarpa di Zachary.
But don't leave town.
Yeah, I wouldn't dream of it.
Allora, controlliamo il suo ufficio. Qua mi sembra tutto a posto. Qua invece no, ci sono c'è un bel po' di sangue, c'è il sangue qua. E c'è del sangue qui. Ah no, prendiamo il
If the files
computer.
have been deleted, we should be able to recover them. Check out whether this is the computer that generated the suicide note and when it generated that note.
Ah, c'è qualcos'altro? No. Maledetto cursore. Oh, eccolo qua. Un'altra bella impronta. Poi vediamo un po' se c'è qualcos'altro. No. Allora, vediamo se si può parlare ancora con sto signore qui. Ecco.
Blood on my keyboard? It could be Mark's, I guess. No, it's not mine. Both Mark and I are authorized to use the computer. I bought the damn thing, but Mark was here on site all the time, so basically it was his computer.
Va bene, allora adesso andiamo. Allora, abbiamo recuperato il computer, del sangue, le impronte. Allora, computer, le impronte digitali e anche le scarpe di Zachary. Dobbiamo andare al laboratorio e analizzare tutto. Allora, analizziamo prima le impronte digitali. Vediamo. No, ho sbagliato. Sì, dai, che palla. Allora, non sono della vittima, saranno di Marcus, neanche di Marcus. E di chi cacchio? Facciamo la ricerca. Ecco qua.
Zachary Lynch's fingerprint
Ah, di Zachary.
on his computer keyboard. Now that's incriminating.
E sono di Zachary. Allora, naturalmente non abbiamo l'impronta completa l'impronta digitale completa di Zachary. Allora, ricerca, computer.
So the last document created on this computer was the suicide note, but it was created nearly 8 hours after Mark Ensign died.
Ah, la lettera è stata creata 8 ore dopo la morte, cioè 8 ore dopo la morte, sembra strano. Allora, adesso cos'è che ci rimane da analizzare? Ah, il sangue e le impronte di scarpe, sì. Allora, impronte di scarpe. Qual era? Forse questo. Sì. No, non combaciano per niente, ragazzi. Quindi le impronte non sono sue. DNA. Vediamo se è della vittima. Sì, mi sa che è suo. Sì, sì, ragazzi, è suo. No, ho sbagliato. Scusate un attimo.
Blood on the keyboard belongs to Mark Ensign.
Ok. Mandato disponibile da Brass. Allora. Ok, abbiamo tutto quello che c'era da controllare, l'abbiamo controllato. Ora dobbiamo chiedere il mandato di... Ho sbagliato. Il mandato da Brass. Che palla però, ma cos'è che vuoi? Ma l'ho già fatto il mandato a Jim, lo sto già chiedendo il mandato. Non mi devi rompere le balle.
What do you get in the way of evidence? A print in the victim's blood. That'll do it. I'll bring him in.
Ok.
We found your fingerprints in blood on the computer keyboard in your office.
So what? I already told you I found Mark and I picked up his suicide note. There was blood everywhere.
And then you told us you left the construction site You didn't mention going back to your office first.
Are you serious? Look, I wasn't keeping a record of my every movement, so yes, I went back to the office. And I went to the computer to check on where Mark had left everything. And then I went home. How dare you ask me that question? No, I didn't write Mark's suicide note.
Ma però ci sono le tue impronte. Ah no, perché è stata la lettera è stata scritta 8 ore dopo la morte.
It turns out that Mark Enson's suicide note was printed from your computer after the time of death. Care to explain that?
Oh my god, this is not what it looks like.
Really? Because it looks like you did a very bad job trying to make a murder look like a suicide.
I didn't kill Mark. All I did was frame a guilty man.
What's that supposed to mean?
Mark killed himself. He jumped off that balcony. I don't think there's any question about that. But just in case there was going to be some question about it, I didn't want you guys snooping around my property for God knows how long looking for a killer. So I planted the suicide note, hoping you guys would just think it was an open and shut case.
That is one of the dumbest stories I've ever heard, Mr. Lynch. Not only is it an admission of obstruction, but it doesn't even begin to give you an alibi.
No one I can think of off the top of my head. But, you know, Mark was starting to alienate a lot of folks. He was starting to act crazy, manic, impulsive. I mean, the night he died, he must have called up some subcontractor out of the blue and hired him without my approval to completely rip up the lobby and then plant that weird native cactus garden. But who the hell do you call after business hours to plant a damn garden? I don't know, but maybe that guy knows something about what happened to Mark.
Wait, you're telling us that that cactus isn't supposed to be there? Maybe we need to take a closer look at that garden.
We can sit here and you can continue to harass and try to intimidate me, but seriously, I have nothing more to say to you people. Want to know my alibi? Why don't you just ask Agent Huntley? Oh yeah, I know him. We actually haven't had the pleasure of a formal introduction, but let's just say we have mutual friends, and some of his friends have been tailing me for the last 6 months. Maybe they'll have some pictures for you. Maybe a recording, video. I understand they like to do that sort of thing. They're kinky like that. Absolutely not. I never laid a hand on Mark.
Ok.
Look, Agent Huntley, I'm fine with you and the feds piggybacking on our investigation, but when you have information we need, you need to share it with us immediately.
I appreciate your position, Jim. I do.
I don't give a damn what you appreciate. I want to know why we may be wasting our time interrogating a suspect if you already know he has an alibi.
I'm trying to tell you it wasn't my call. There are protocols for sharing information. Yes, we are, but I'm not in charge of that particular operation. Well, according to the field report, Lynch returned home from dinner at 3 a.m. No further movement was observed inside his house until the following morning. No. And the truth is, I can't confirm Zachary Lynch's whereabouts at the time of Mark Enson's murder.
Why not?
This morning, Lynch apparently gave our surveillance team the slip.
So you trying to tell us that you don't trust your men?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, Jim. Off the record, that is. On the record, I should tell you to go to hell.
Looks like we can't be sure whether Lynch was at home or not. Maybe it's time we looked at our crime scene a little more closely.
Ok ragazzi, noi dovremmo andare a dare un'occhiata alla scena del crimine. Però io adesso vado in laboratorio e salviamo. E riprenderemo la live nel prossimo video. Quindi io adesso faccio qui, c'è un salvataggio in corso. Ok. Va bene amici, allora io metto su menu opzioni, così siamo a posto. Per il momento è tutto, grazie per avermi seguito, mi raccomando commentate, mettete mi piace, iscrivetevi al canale. Dal vostro amico Anthony, un saluto a tutti e alla prossima. Ciao ragazzi!